Hey everyone, welcome back to the You're Doing Great Mom podcast. I'm Dr. MaryAnne Shiozawa, and this is episode 20. Today's episode is a little bit different for a couple reasons. One, I've recorded it in video version, so if you want to see us and watch us on my YouTube channel, it's under my name, MaryAnne Shiozawa. Second, I'm branching out and I'm talking about motherhood in a different perspective. Women who, for whatever reason, aren't mothers. I think it's an important topic and not many people have this type of conversation. In this episode, I'm speaking with a close friend of mine, Noreen Sumpter, who isn't a mother. And Noreen and I, we've been friends for nearly 20 years. We met in New York when we were both in a seminar series at Landmark Education. And as single women with similar interests at the time and personalities, we hit it off instantly. And we've stayed close over the years, even though I've moved over to the UK and she's still in New York City. And we've managed to just stay in contact with each other. So when I decided to chat with women who aren't mothers, I immediately wanted to hear Noreen's story. I thought she would really add a great contribution. She's loads of fun, and like me, I'm sure you'll love this episode. Yeah, let's get this party started.
Let's get this party started right.
Okay. Hi, Noreen.
Hi, MaryAnne. How are you?
I'm really good.
Great.
This is gonna be fun. So Noreen, just tell me who you are, what you do, where do you live, where are you from, and let's let our viewers and listeners know who Noreen Sumpter is.
Okay, so
The
my name
fabulous
is Noreen. Thank you. So my name is Noreen Sumpter, and I am a personal life coach, and I call myself the potentiator. What is that, you might ask? Well, I help people go beyond their personal potential, right? Because most people are saying, oh, I never reach my potential. I'm afraid I'll never reach my potential. Well, ultimately, you don't want to reach your potential. You want to go beyond your potential. An example of that is Sir Richard Branson, right? So Richard Branson, if he had just gone to his potential, he would have just done Virgin Music or Virgin Records, and that would have been it in his life. He has gone beyond his potential because now he's going to the moon, okay? Right? He's creating flights to the moon. Come on. If that's not beyond what he saw as a possibility when he started working or building the music, you know, that is, and yet, and he still have time and energy in his body, he's going to create something else, and then something else, and then something else. So I heard this phrase by one of my coaches that I work with. She said to me, if you ever have a situation where you're having too much to do, like most of us go, I have a lot to do, instead of adding or making our plate bigger, what we do is we take things off our plate, right? Mm-hmm. All the things that we wanted. I want to have children, and so with children comes play groups and immunizations, and when they get older, it's school and school meetings and this and that and the other. And then if you're a business person that has school, it becomes your work, creating your business, expanding your knowledge base about your business, and the children and the play groups and then if you become, if your business gets really big and you have staff, then that's all of that. And then you want to have vacations, and so you have to plan all of the things that life has you. So what we do now is like, there's too much. And so we start to take things off our plate, right? And only deal with the things that we can. Well, my coach says, always ask yourself, what would Richard Branson do, right? WWRBS. What would Richard Branson do, right?
WWRBS. No.
Right.
What would Richard
Branson? What would Richard Branson do?
WWRBD.
D.
Yeah.
Where do I get the S from? Right. What would Richard Branson do?
Yeah.
Right. So you instead of making your plate smaller, you make your plate bigger. and you create tighter structures, right?
Yeah.
And so when you have tighter structures, you can actually, and you schedule your things in, you can actually add more things in. Because most of us think like, oh, I want to live a spontaneous life. Well, if you don't have anything in your life, you don't have anything planned, how can life be spontaneous? You're just going to do it. But if you have this mass of things that are planned, you can always, and you have it in time and date, you can always find a place to squeak it in. You can move things around, not take things out, move things around so you can get that thing, that new thing that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to, and I learned this, I should tell you how I learned this, people. So I'm a coach, and my day was filled, and I was dating this guy.
Oh no.
I was dating this guy, and he called me up and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm really busy. You know, my schedule is filled for the day. I can't even talk to you right now because I'm getting ready to go on another call." And he says, "Well, I wanted to come over." So I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Let's come over and have a quickie." I said, I can't have a quickie with you. I have things to do, right? So I said to him, like, "You can come over. If I do, I have to move things around."
Yeah.
Right. So I had my client that was calling me in like 20 minutes. Right. And then, so what I did, because my client's calling me in 20 minutes, I was able to move it like 10 minutes, move it back 10 minutes. Right.
Yeah.
And then move the other one back a little bit. Right. So I had to move everything around so that I could create that 30 minutes for him to come over, have a quickie, have a good time, and then get back to work. Right?
Yeah.
So most of us would be like, oh, I have to cancel some things. I have to take some things off. Or it's a no, right? We can't do it. I'm a firm believer that we can have it all.
Yeah.
Right? If we're scheduled and we have structures, but not scheduled like a maniac, like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that. No. Scheduled where everything has its space.
Yeah.
You can create space, and you can have that quickie if you want to have that quickie, and still have time to get back to work. So there's nothing missing. Mm-hmm. So that's what I realized. Oh, what would Richard Branson do if he wanted to have a quickie? Well, he's got a ton of people that he's got working for him, but he still has a ton of responsibilities.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to add things in. And that was a spontaneous moment. And I realized I couldn't have been spontaneous if I didn't have anything to do. Mm-hmm. It's not spontaneous if you don't have anything to do. You can't create spontaneity. Spontaneity comes in that you have things to do, you can move them around, and you can have that little thing and then continue on with the rest of the thing in your life. Mm-hmm. And it was great. So people that say to me, well, I don't want to do too much, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that because I want to remain spontaneous. Well, you can remain spontaneous all you want if you don't have anything, because it's not spontaneity, right? There's no spontaneity. Or you have a lot going on in your life and you create it. Mm-hmm. You can create spontaneity because you've created all those other areas in your life. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm a personal life coach. There's a long way around it, but I'm always teaching as I go along.
Yep.
And I live in Brooklyn. And I'm originally from London, for you London people that are wondering where this accent comes from, even though they don't hear it anymore.
I hear it.
Right. And I live in Brooklyn, and I've been coaching for 12 years, and I love MaryAnne, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for her. Oh. So this is my day.
The feeling is mutual.
Thank you, darling. And I'm going through menopause. Look at this, people. Menopauses. Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 54, and it just started last year.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Just started last year.
So
I have to do 2 seconds. I have to be spontaneous and go get a napkin. Hold
on. We're gonna edit this part out while she goes to get a napkin.
So I'm back.
I was just saying we're going to edit this part out while you go get a napkin to wipe your brow. So
no, you should leave it in because it's real.
Yeah. So you're saying that you're going through menopause and you're feeling like you're feeling hot?
I'm feeling hot. I'm hot anyway, but I am
right. Now we know that, baby.
Now I've got hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
So I get sweat on the forehead and a
Yeah.
nose, and it's just I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but it is what it is. It's a part of life.
Of course. I love that. You're embracing it.
What else am I going to do? If I resist it, then it's going to be worse.
Yeah. But I think many women resist it. They don't embrace it, whatever that, I don't know what else they do, but they don't embrace it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I asked you on my podcast because I think that the conversation of motherhood and choosing, or whatever reason you're not a mother, whether you chose it intentionally, powerfully, or for whatever circumstances occurred in your life. There's many reasons why a woman who doesn't have children, why she doesn't have children. There's many different possibilities. And there was an article in The Economist maybe a couple months back about this particular thing. And most of the time, a woman, when she is in her 40s and she realizes, she doesn't have children and she realizes she's not going to have children, it's because of outside circumstances. So she wanted to become a mother, but with circumstances beyond her control, something happened. And then there's the reason of women just, there was a timing issue. It was one of those things where they didn't find the right partner at the time, and they delayed it, or their career took over and they chose to put their career first, and then they just sort of had the attitude of, well, I'll come around to it. And then, there was a mix of I'm not sure if I want to have children. I might, and I'm not sure. And so there's a range of reasons. And one of the least common reasons is among women from this particular survey is that they actually knew from very young on that they actually did not want to become a mother. And so I think that the conversation is really interesting, and I think that many women or society, we don't talk about this particular topic. And I think it's really important, and it's something that, it's something to be discussed, and it's really interesting to me, because when I meet a woman around my age, or even when she's in the prime fertile years of her life, and she says, I don't know if I want to have children, or if I don't want to have children, it's a reality that I never had, because I always knew I wanted to have children, and I have 3 children.
You did. You wanted 7, I remember.
I wanted to have a lot of children, and I always knew this since as long as I really can remember. There might have been a period of time when I was, I don't know, in my early 20s where I actually questioned, do I really want to have children? But it was quickly, set aside, and it was just delusional. And I knew deep down, of course, I'm going to have children. But so the reality of living a life where you just did not, where and you knew that you did not want to have children is so foreign to me. And I think that people don't understand that. People, when you meet a woman in her 40s and 50s and she doesn't have children, it's well, what happened to her? You can tell me, you can tell me your perspective, your point of view, because it's I think a lot of people just have these negative attitudes towards it and stuff. So why don't you tell me what your story is? Why did you not become a mother?
It was choice. I never wanted to have children.
Yeah.
I knew from the age of 13 that I did not want to have children. It was not something that I wanted to have in this lifetime. Right. And I've had the conversation with people who have tried to either shame me into that there's something wrong. Right. What's wrong with you? Why don't you have children? Well, I've never wanted to have children, and my choice is my choice. I've never felt it's not that I don't love children. I think children are great. And even if I didn't love them, it's still my right to not have children. I didn't want to have children, and I chose not to have children. And it's one of those things that when I'm dating a man, or dating, when I married my husband, I told him emphatically, that I was not having children. So if children is something that's important to him or that he wanted, then he shouldn't marry me. And my mother also told him, if you want to have children, this is not the woman that you should be marrying. My sister wanted to have children. Both my sisters wanted to have children. All my brothers and sisters, I come from a family of 7, they've all wanted to have children.
Oh,
but
really?
It's not yeah, totally. It's not something that I've wanted. So I've heard, what's wrong with you? Are you selfish? Why are you so selfish? It's not selfish. It would have been selfish for me to have children because I really didn't want them. I mean, I think there's always a choice, right? I mean, fortunately, I was born in an era where you can have an abortion without being stigmatized or labeled, even though people still label and stigmatize, or you could take the pill. So I had 2 abortions. I didn't want to have children ever, right? But I've had 2 abortions in my life because, I got pregnant. I'm a woman, fertile, and that happened. And I knew my mother was like, please have the baby. You'll never have
How old were you?
Another one. I was 16 and I think 19 when I had abortions.
Wow. And it was like no question. You just knew.
There was I was not going to do that.
Yeah.
I just knew it wasn't like hiding it or anything. No, it was just something I was not going to do. And my mother was like, in the last one, my mother was like, please, please have the baby because you might never have another. Well, that's the whole idea. I'm not going to have one or another, and it's my right. And people have been like, who's going to look after you in your old age? Well, there's absolutely no guarantee that you're going to have children. If you have children, that they're going to look after you in your old age, because a myriad of things could happen. And they could just end up hating your guts and never want to have anything to do with you. So that's not something that I've ever wanted to do. And I don't think that and then some people have children because they feel that this is what they have to do. It's not what they want to do. It's what they have to do. I've never felt that. So that's why I don't have children. I don't need a reason. Ultimately, I don't need a reason. I just never wanted children.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. And it's it's your right. And there's no,
absolutely.
The thing is, you're going to be judged, and people judge. And, I'm guilty. I used to judge. And now it's after having children and living a life as a mother, married as a mother, where I have a lot of respect for women who choose not to become mothers. I think that it's a different conversation when you talk to a woman who really wanted to have children but couldn't for some reason, although, and chose not to adopt, or there's other ways to become a mother, but for whatever reason, it's a different conversation, of course, emotionally and psychologically. But I think that it is actually quite rare where there's a woman who just chooses intentionally and is very clear that she doesn't want to become a mother. And it's just, I have a lot of respect, and I have a lot of, I admire that. You know what I mean? I think that
right.
It's an admiration. It's, you are, that you, just like I knew very powerfully and very clearly that I wanted to become a mother. It's the other end of that is where you were at, and
because it's like it's like this pencil, right? At one end there's an eraser, and the other end there isn't. It's like, at one end somebody knows they want to be a mother, and at the other end there's me, not wanting to be a mother, right? Or you can even look at it this way: at this end, I don't want to be mother, and then what happens in life is I get pregnant, right? If I'm clear about I don't want to be a mother, then I'm going to take these choices, which is have an abortion, or, something, right? Or go on the pill, or I don't know, do something. But at the end of every choice, there's the non-choice. Let's say that, So it's like my choice is don't want children. I got knocked up along in the gap, right? Because here's the gap, right? I got knocked up. And I chose. I still don't want children because now I have to ask the question, do I want children? No, I don't want children. That
Mm-hmm.
is, and then I do what I need to do to not have that happen. But I can't have the child and then say, I didn't want you or have it impact my life because I always have choice to be here and I got to be true. I was being true to this. I didn't want children and
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to have them. You wanted children. So if you couldn't have children, you would have found a way to create children for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have children and you're really happy with that. But there's no thing as like I didn't want children and all of a sudden I got children. Well, you weren't clear in your choice.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to say that to speak to the women that said they wanted children, whether they had an illness that prevented them from having children. You can choose to see if you can remedy that illness because on the side of illness is wellness, right? And the gap is what am I going to do about that?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can say, I can't have children, make your illness wrong, and don't do anything else to have what you want, right? Meaning that you can adopt a child or you can go get some treatments. If those treatments don't work, and you're committed to having a child, then you adopt.
Right. Which
But
many
there's always
couples
choices.
do. Many couples will end
Yeah.
up doing that. I mean, and now of course there's surrogacy. You know, there's
Yeah.
lots of different options. But the bottom line is, I think that there's
Choice.
there's choice, and it's it's just it's interesting to me. I mean, I look at women like you, well, any woman who doesn't have a child in her 40s and 50s, and it's like I wonder, it's like, what would my life look like right now if I didn't have children? And I look at you, it's like, wow, I've learned so much inside of being a mother, but at the same time, I know that I would learn differently. I would learn
Mm-hmm.
as much, but differently,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, my next question is like, what about it? It's rare. I mean, you were 13 years old and you knew clearly that you did not want to have children. Like, why?
Probably even younger than that.
What is, how did you, why and how? I mean, what was it about motherhood where you knew that you didn't want that you did not
Okay.
want to have your own children, adopted or biological?
Well, let me say this to you, that when you talked about motherhood and you there was something you said about motherhood, and what popped into my head is like, that is not a language I speak, motherhood, right? Me being a mother was not even a conversation. It's like I speak English. I've never wanted to speak Chinese, right? Chinese is no offense to Chinese people, but it's a language nonetheless, right? English, Chinese, right? I speak English. I have no desire to learn Chinese. There's no reason for me to learn Chinese. I don't want to learn to speak Chinese. If I go to China, I will work it out in China, right? Maybe I'll learn a couple of languages, ni hao, right? But it's like having a baby. I mean, it sounds really weird, but motherhood is a language. It's a way of being. I have never, ever in my life, even, Noreen mother. That's like, it's like alien. I've never even thought about it.
It's so interesting because you're so good with children, though. Do you know what I mean? And you enjoy children.
I love children. I have children around me all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I have Sophia who lives upstairs, who's been in my life since she's 1 year old.
I think that's your doorknob again, honey.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's just not a language I ever wanted to speak. It's not, when you think of mother, me being mother just was not even a thought. I love dolls. But it was just never a thought. And I have Sophia who's she's 15 now. She's been in my life since she's 1 every day, apart from 4 years when she went away to be with her grandparents. But pretty much Sophia comes in and sees me every day. she calls me mummy. She calls me mother, which I'm saying, don't do that.
She's your neighbor's daughter.
She's my neighbor's daughter.
Right.
And don't call me that because that's an insult to your mother. But right. I know where the sentiment comes from. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
why doesn't she call you aunt? Why doesn't she call you auntie?
No, she wants to call me mummy. Ever since she was 3, she's wanted to call me mummy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ever since. And then there was another little boy that lived down the street. He used to can I call you mummy? And I'd be like, no, don't call me mummy. It's for me, I felt like I don't want to overstep my mark. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I don't want to make anybody's parents feel uncomfortable, their kid calling me mummy, right? And then there was I've had like 4 children in my life, right? So I've had Zahara, who
like
is
long term.
Yeah, they're still in my life. Zahara's like 21 now. She's a fashion model. Ooh. And she's back in Brooklyn. And she was in my life all the time. So I've always had children in my life. And then I had Abdul. He's another little kid that used to be he was my first kid now, actually. He's about 30 now. And then Zahara, Sophia, and Amdi, right? These are children that I pretty much, had in my life all the time at some point. And Sophia's been pretty much in my life her whole life since she was 1. And I love them, and I love having them around, and I love supporting them, and but I've just never wanted children. Consciously never wanted children. Yeah.
That's really interesting. It's interesting because
it's weird.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the.
It's weird because you want it to make sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
It doesn't make sense to you because you're so much a mother. It doesn't make sense that I'm not a mother, but you have a conversation that I'd be a great mother, right? So it's just the same as people. It's a similar situation where you're conscious of this conversation and you know something about it because you're coming from your own space. Like, why would she not want to do that? How do you know you don't want to do something? Whereas another person would come from it like, what's wrong with you? Are you that selfish? Like, they would come at me with shame base, trying to make me be ashamed that here I am, a woman, and I'm selfish and I don't want to have a child. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like they don't understand it, but they don't have the emotional intelligence to understand. It's a choice. They just think, you're a woman, you have a vagina, you have a uterus, the baby should come out, Yeah, it's just not. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I think you're a really good role model or an example and an inspiration for young women, young girls, who are the exception, and because I think, now in times like the millennials or the young girls that now, there's a lot of shifting that's going on with like social media and information and the internet, and it's very different from. We all know that it's very different from when we were younger.
Well, when you were younger and when I was younger.
Well, okay. Listen, I see you. It's funny because we've been friends for such a long time, and I still see us. I mean, I see you as a little bit older, but I still see us as like equal. Well,
totally. We are.
Yeah,
we are equal.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's only time is but a measurement, right? Time is just an agreement. It's also used to balance out, right? To at 50 people might experience this. At 5, children are supposed to be in school. At 21, people could become adults. It's to have us flow through society, so to keep the flow going. But ultimately, there's no such thing as time, because I can have a conversation with a person who is 17, 18, 19, and be in the conversation whereby I'm sharing my experience, they're sharing their experience, and there's no judgment or me saying, oh, well, you don't know yet because you're only 21. But there are things that I don't know the 21-year-old will know based upon today.
Exactly.
Right? And there are things that they don't know based upon experience of growing through life.
Mm-hmm.
Like certain feelings or emotions or things that happen will pass,
Mm-hmm.
right? Will flow. Like in time, this too will pass and you'll learn other things. They don't know that yet.
Yeah.
They might be in a love situation where they love this person to pieces and the person hurts them and they think it's going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't last forever. Or they might be on a job that they love right now and it's to catch me out of the bee's knees. But they get to 30 and they don't want to be on that job anymore. And they feel like, oh my God, my life is ending. What am I going to do? But that too will pass when you choose something else and create something else.
Mm.
Right? But they always think that, oh, I can't choose anything. There isn't anything right now. There isn't anything that I'll ever want. No, right now there isn't. But in the moment when you settle down, when you get calm, you will find something that you want to do and you'll do it.
Mm.
So it's a process. It's always flowing.
So you mentioned your husband and he was when did you get married? So tell me about that. And then did you guys...
When I met my husband when I was 20 and I was married January 86. I came here 85, so I was married by December 6th, 1985 I got married. So what's that? I think I was about 20. Either 2021, I don't remember.
You met him in New York.
Yes, I met him the summer of 85. I think it was July. I spent 8 weeks with him. He came to London, met my parents. I went back in November. By December, I was married. December 6th, I was married. And I stayed married to him for 12 years. And then I didn't want to be married anymore. And I shared that I don't want to be married anymore. And we got divorced, I think, because I would never have gotten divorced because it wasn't a priority. I just didn't want to be with the guy anymore. But then somebody told me, if you don't get divorced and something happens to you, my husband, like something happens to me and I have to be in the hospital. Say, for instance, I was on life support. He could pull the button. He could press the button. He had that power. And I was like, oh, time for a divorce. And so I got divorced.
So, but was it a good marriage?
Oh, it was great. It was a great marriage.
And then you just kind of were like, okay, I don't want to be married. Okay. Did you, I mean, when you married him, okay, you were 20, that's really young. So, I mean, what did you know at that time? But I
knew a lot because I was 20.
Yeah.
Because we think we know a lot.
And he was okay with you not wanting children, obviously.
Well, no, I don't think he was, to be honest.
Right.
I think he wanted me. And I eventually realized that, people say when you love somebody and you want to be with that person, and the person says, I don't want to have children, and you're a man that wants to have children, if you're not clear about yourself that, children are a priority to me, you'll go to the person, oh, it's fine, it's okay if we don't have children, because you think that you'll marry them, you'll show them how much you love them and care for them, and then that person will change their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hell, I'm sorry, I didn't change my mind because it was something that was important to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of marriages, I think that's actually quite common. I think what happens is one of them, well, actually, I hear it more the other way around. Like the man thinks he doesn't, or says he doesn't want to have children, and then the woman ends up changing her mind, saying I want to have children, and then she just ends up convincing the husband. I hear that more often, but yeah, your experience is, to me, I think, unique. But it's, so when you got married, did you think this is forever? We're gonna live together. We're gonna live till we're old.
Of course.
And then so you were 32, and you were like.
We did live till we were old. I was 32.
Yeah.
I was older.
Yeah.
That's the real thing. You live till you're older.
Yeah.
Like, so that could be like, I was 20, turned 21 the next month or whatever. And then I was 32 when it was over, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And, because we were married 12 years. And then I was older, and then we got divorced, and that was it.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside, I did marry with the intention that was the only marriage I was going to have for the rest of my life, and we were going to live happily ever after, you know. I wasn't unhappy. He didn't beat me. He didn't cheat. He didn't do any of those things.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and that's where the issue was, right? Because, you know, you're married to somebody, and he's a good guy. He's a nice guy, right? He's a great guy. Still a great guy.
Is he the same age as you?
No, he's 10 years older than me. So he's 60. Yeah.
Oh.
And so it's kind of like I just got to the end of the road and I knew it was time to choose, and there was nothing going on. It was me. I just didn't want to be married anymore. It wasn't like, oh, you know, I want to get married and I want to have a lover. I want to have, you know, no, it wasn't. It was I just didn't want to be married anymore. And that was it.
Oh God.
It was, you know, I could make up reasons why, and I did make up reasons why. But I actually realized that I didn't have a reason, because all the reasons that I was making up why I didn't want to be married to this man anymore, I could have provided for myself. I just didn't want to be married.
You know, I mean,
and that's the truth.
Could it be like a question of, you know, remember when we took Mama Gina School of Women in the Arts, and one of the things that was,
I was divorced then.
Yes. One of the things that was the concept, or what she talked about, the way she talks about men, and she focuses a lot on that. And one of the things that she said that just was really eye-opening for me, it was about how men like to be useful, and they like to be needed. And you know, when we talked about like if there was a girl or a woman in that class and said, oh, you know, like I broke up with him, and it was just like there was this concept of, yeah, you know, just consider that you just no longer needed him, like there was no more use for him. So, you know what I mean? Like I know that sounds harsh, but there, I mean, maybe there was like that element there for you. I mean, he maybe marriage just didn't provide what you didn't need. It didn't fulfill you. There was no longer any use for you in being married.
And you know, to look at it, was there any use? I didn't want to look at him like an object, because we had great sex, right? Sex was really great between us, and we did that until we walked out the door, right?
Right.
I just didn't want to be married anymore, and I just wanted to be with myself.
Yeah.
Oh look!
Oh, there's the cavalry. Hold on, there's my son.
I think that was four of them.
Whoa. Okay, there's my son. Say hi. Say hi.
Which one is Max. This? Is this Max?
This is Max.
Max the baby. That's the baby, right?
No, this is the baby. Over here. Anna, can you say hi?
Why are you phoning her?
Because I'm doing a podcast episode. Come here.
Hey, Max.
Say hi to Noreen. Just look at Noreen. Oh, this is the baby. Okay.
Sup, man.
What did you say?
Say it again.
Sup, man.
What's up, man?
Yeah. Okay. No. Anna and Max, you're gonna have to go because I'm in the middle of a podcast episode.
Well, this is what it's like to be a mumpreneur.
It is. They just climb all over you. They're like puppies. I swear, my kids. I envision them like puppies, because they just, you know, they flop around and they like crawl around on me, and they're puppies.
She's in the puppy walk.
They're
She's in the puppy walk right now.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but it's perfect.
Yeah, it is. Okay, shut the door.
It's perfect. You shouldn't edit that out.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to, when I look back, when I edit it, when I, you know, watch it, I'll have to see how distracting it is.
Yeah, but it's good because it's distracting, and then you come back to center.
Yeah. It's kind of like that, you know, that BBC, did you see that video with the guy? And his wife comes in and her pants are down because you know she was on the toilet. She was on the toilet and she's probably praying to God, oh please God, like just she probably had to pee like crazy. And then like because she probably just knows her kids so well, and she's just like, please God, like just don't go in and bother my like daddy. And I can totally, it's so, which is why it went viral, because every single mother
Right.
and father could relate to that.
Well, Sophia's not my child, right?
Yeah.
But like, if I'm on with a client, if I forget to lock the door,
Yeah.
she will come traipsing into my apartment because my door is always open so she can come in and out, right?
Yeah.
So if I don't lock the door, look, here we go again.
Here we go again.
If I don't lock the door,
Totally.
right? And then she will come in and traipse in with her school friends and they'll just sit on the couch. And so now, they totally would. Oh, well, she'll traipse in and be like, Noreen, guess what? And I'll be like, right? And then she knows it's,
Mommy, where did you put
Yeah.
and then I'll go, right? No. And then she'll walk out the door.
Hold on. What?
Hold on.
Where did you put my remote control?
It's in the TV room.
I looked in the TV room.
Well, it's in your box. It's in the box. You told me to put it in the box.
Where's the box?
I don't know. It's in there. Shut the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is like, it happens. This is what it is. I'm not a mother, but I have the experience of being a mother because it's a being, right? It's a beingness.
She needs you in a certain way.
Mother her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feed her.
And you
I'm
love
hungry. I've
you
been
love
feeding her
her.
since she was
That's what it is.
I-
Motherhood.
I adore her.
Yeah, motherhood
Yeah.
is love, and
That's it.
yeah, and that's the bottom line. You love her, and you would. I mean, if she called you up, and she was in a emergency situation, and she urgently needed you, you would stop.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't even have to finish that sentence.
Exactly.
It's without a doubt.
Yeah.
So I don't have to physically give birth to a baby out of my vagina or uterus, right? But I can be a mother in an instant. I can be a mother in an instant. And that's really what it is. It's like, I can't, a couple of months ago, just before the summer, there were a group of young ladies and they were outside. The kids let out from school. It's the last day of school. And they're pretty loud, but I'm used to that, so I tune it out. But the noise gets louder and louder, so I decided to take a peek out the window. I couldn't see what was going on, but it was really loud now. So I decided to go out the door, and I see these two girls, literally throwing down on the corner of the street. My neighbor, who's this big 6-foot guy, standing in the hallway, and he's going, oh my God, what should I do? What should I do? And I was like, call the cops, right? Call the cops. And I went outside, and these two girls are just like at it on the floor. I don't know what happened, but this energy kicked in of, I would say, like a mother trying to save its child. Don't know where this strength came from, but I heaped up this girl. She was a big girl, not a little girl. She was my height and everything. But I heaped her up, and I brought her into my hallway, and I held her by the face like that, and I said, calm down, breathe, just breathe.
Yeah.
And so I said, breathe with me. And we start to breathe together. And I said, you're calm now? I said, come into my apartment, sit there. And I gave her some water. And I said, are you okay?
Yeah.
What's going on? She started to share with me what was going on and stuff. Well, I too have been in a situation like that when I was younger. And it was not the last day of school, but it was the day when we had Career Day, when we were talking about what we're going to do when we leave school, right? Because we were getting ready to leave school. I was freaked out by this. Freaked out. Because I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? Am I going to have my own house? All the things you think about when high school is almost over.
Yeah.
What am I going to, I didn't know if I was going to go to college. I had no idea. It's not like this big plan that you have here in America, right? In America, it's like a rite of passage. The next step is college. In England, I didn't have that rite of passage. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that I was coming to the end of school and I had to choose something. And I didn't know what that was. I was freaked out. So there was this girl that was like annoying me for 6 weeks. I'd carry books. And, I was a bit of a scrapper in school. And I remember I'm carrying books down the hallway, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to get into any fights with anybody. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to really try to stay straight like that. And so I'd walk down the hallway, I'd see her, she'd knock books out of my hands, and I would say, "It's okay, it was an accident," right? And in my mind, I was like, "No, Noreen, just calm down. It's an accident. She didn't mean it, but she did." And things like this for like 6 weeks. And it was this career day that I was in a state thinking of the future. That's why, as a coach, I always coach my people to stay in the present, right? Don't go into the past. Don't go too far in the future. Just stay in the moment and create a future going forward. And in that moment, because if we create a future going forward, it would drive us crazy. We'll go mad because we won't know. You'll just go crazy because you can't see it, right? Because you haven't created it. This girl came out and she was like making trouble. And I said, "Not today, any day but today. I've got a bit of a headache. I'm a little stressed out. And I really just don't have it today." And she goes, "Oh, what are you going to do about it?" I was like, "I'm not going to do anything about it." "Oh, really?" I said, "I'm not going to do anything about it. Not today. I've got a headache. I'm stressed out and I just can't." So then she goes, "Oh, really? Oh, what you going to do about it?" I said, "Okay, let's step outside." And it was like a gunfight at the OK Corral. Let's step outside like that. And normally I have this thing, you never, at the time, never hit somebody first. They hit you, you're going into defense, right? So she started at me. Oh my God, I destroyed her.
Oh my God.
I really thought that this girl would destroy me, but I really realized it was the future that I was stressed out about that had me, I raged on her.
Oh my God.
I raged on her like I'd never raged on another person in my entire life. And I literally was stomping her into the ground because I just wanted to kill her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Right?
It was the buildup. It was the buildup of 6 weeks of her harassing you.
It really was. And so I really got where this young girl was coming from because she shared her story and it was a similar thing. Right? And, got her organized, got her straight. You need to call anybody. I said to her, "Look, I've been there. I know what you feel like. But, in this day and age, you can't have that. Because back in the day, we didn't have social media. We didn't have viral videos. We didn't have those things. And colleges are looking at that kind of thing today to see the kind of person that you are. They check your Facebooks. They check your emails, all of those things. So you don't really need that." But anyway, we sorted her out. Her friends came in, took care of her. And they were like, "Oh, my God, you are a hero today."
Yeah.
I sat down and I had a conversation with them. "You're a hero. Thank you." And they were like, "Thank you, Auntie," hugging me and kissing me as they walk out the door. They didn't have any blemishes. I had a boo-boo on my finger. I'm the one that walked away with the boo-boo. It's like, but.
Well,
so
it's
motherhood.
It's the motherhood. I mean, that's the thing. That's why, to me, that's why to me, when I know you and I see, well, I think that I became very close to you because I saw and I felt this sisterhood, and this, this connection, and I saw that kind of love, and because, that caring, because that's, you embody certain traits as a woman, and as a woman, you have those traits, those natural, instinctive characteristics, and that I see that in motherhood, and so to me, that's why it's difficult to make sense of your choice in not becoming a mother, only because I felt a strong sisterhood, a caring person, who you are, and
right.
and that loving support that you embody, and
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
I'm the mother of the world.
So tell us, you now have what are you doing now? Like, wow, what? So you've got this radio show you were telling me.
Yeah, I have my radio show.
Yeah, and that's
It's
weekly?
Yeah, it's a weekly radio show. It comes on. Hey, who's that?
This is Anna. She's the little
Hey,
one.
Anna.
Mommy, but can I please have some seaweed?
Yes. Okay. Bye. Can you shut the door, honey?
Oh, God. Here comes the man.
Yeah. Oh, can you hear him barking?
Is that your husband?
Yeah, that's Julian.
Mommy, Daddy says
He remembers you very well.
Mommy,
Of
Daddy
course.
says I can't have some.
I said she can have some seaweed. Go. You can have it.
Is that the crispy kind?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like virtually calorie free. I mean, come on.
And it's also sugar free.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so I have my radio show.
Yeah.
It comes on, it's every Tuesday at 9 Eastern Standard Time, which is in the evening. And it's called Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way. And it's absolutely, it's amazing. I love the radio show.
and what
It's
radio?
live.
What channel? What radio? Like
It's internet radio.
Oh, right.
And it's www.talkradio.nyc.
Right. Okay, that's so cool. I love that. Oh, look at this.
I know, right?
Thank you, Anna. Shut the door. Thank you. She's so sweet.
Right?
That's so cool. I love that you're doing that. I wish I could hear you live. Oh my God.
And it's so fun. And it's a call-in show, so people are free to call in. Oh, it's so fun. It's an amazing show. So I do talks about things like forgiveness. So last week's show was about forgiveness. And it's a gift. Forgiveness is a gift, right? First you got to give it to yourself, and then you give it to others. And then the other show was the week before that was called suffering. Suffering is a choice.
And you're just talking. It's just you talking. And
Yeah,
how many
talk.
minutes are you doing or on?
It's an hour-long show. And and I have people on from time to time. I also have people in the I call it my green room.
Oh, cool.
Right. So I invite people to come and be with me on the show, and it's optional. If they feel the need to chime in on something, they're welcome to do that. The week before that, I had a show. It was called "Are You Sexy?" Right? Are you
cool.
sexy? All that and a bag of chips. The cat's meow. Right? Are you the cat's meow? All that and a bag of chips. And if you can say yes, you are, then you are. But I looked at sexy as being confident, not sexy as in
Yeah, I mean the question is, what
confident.
is sexy? And sexy is within you.
Absolutely.
I think ultimately for me, there's an energy about it. It's not like, I have long hair and, the physical aspect. Yeah.
I've got veggie lashes.
I've got my lashes done too, by the way.
No, I don't have my lashes done. Right. So it's not about it's who you be.
Yeah.
Right. So being confident is sexy.
Yeah.
Being confident is the new black. It's like sexy.
Yeah.
Right. If you have on your sexy, which is sexy is like a cocktail dress, but it's who you're being at the cocktail party.
Yeah.
Like that.
So, how can people, because, it's not just London folk that are listening to this. I mean, there's going to be.
No, there's people all over the world.
There's people all over the world that are going to be watching this and listening to this. So they might want to, if they're over on your side of the pond. It's so funny, like you're British and I'm American, and we've done this like switcheroo. Me being here in London. Next time I come to New York, we got to hang out.
You have to, because you got to come with some peace and ease, not flying in and dashing out.
Well,
you got to have some time. You got to create some time.
I got to create some time. God, I really miss New York. I needed to leave to know that it's my love. It's where I love being, and I love London, but I feel like an expat. I still feel like I'm not British. I'm not a Londoner. And I'm very much a New Yorker, even though
Right.
even though I was born in France and whatever. But anyway, so lots of people are going to be listening to this from all over the world. So if they want to listen to your radio show, it's talk radio
www.
dot talk.
www.talkradio.nyc.
Cool. And then what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Noreen Sumpter Coach.
Cool. Yeah.
And you can find me, you can go Google Noreen Sumpter and everything that I've ever written will come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very simple. NoreenSumpterCoach.com.
Right.
If what I do with, how do I attract clients?
Yeah, I wanted to, that's my next question. I wanted to, what is your what is the word I'm looking for? Your philosophy, the way you are there for your clients as a coach.
Okay. So my mission in life is to have people live life their way, right? So you're in New York, you're in London, but you're a New Yorker, right? Mm-hmm. But you chose to be in London, so you choose it fully, right? There's no reason to miss it because New York's not going anywhere.
Right.
Right? I'm in New York because I choose to be in New York.
Yeah.
If I miss London, I'll go to London. But there's no reason, I don't have to choose which one is better, which one is worse. It's my choice. I love them both.
Yeah.
Right? When I'm in London, I love London. When I'm in New York, I love New York.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's my choice. I want people to really get into that they can have the life that they choose, but you have to choose it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to give it up. Give up one thing to achieve something. You can have it all. Integration. Who are you? You get to say who you are. You can invent. Some people will say things like, well, I'm a procrastinator. No, procrastinating is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not who you are. Who you are is a human being that does certain things and the results that you have. So if you procrastinate, what you'll do is you'll waste time. But I have a whole conversation about procrastination. It really doesn't exist, right? It only exists if you say it exists. Mm-hmm. But once you're inspired and you've got something you're after, procrastination does not exist. Mm-hmm. You get it done. You get it done, right? You do. If you have a deadline to meet, you've got 2 weeks to meet a deadline. Most people will drag that 2 weeks out, going, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to write. But trust me, a few days before, they bust out everything that they're supposed to do. They get it done. Mm-hmm. And they get it done well because they get inspired, right? Whether it's the deadline, and we're like rush junkies. We love to rush and do things in the spur of the moment. But what if you just took that on? You know what? That's when I get inspired, and you just do it.
Mm-hmm. Some people don't understand. I think that coaching and life coaches, I think that it's been the profession has been growing and growing probably since I met you. You said you've been doing it for like 12 years.
12 years, yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of started when we were good friends in New York, and we hung out. But I still think that, I don't know, at least over here, I still feel that it's not well understood. What is it? I know you probably explain this to like so many people, but how is it different to therapy?
Because I'm having you live in the present moment. In therapy, you're dealing and you have to reconcile your past. Mm. I'm not having you reconcile your past. Your past is your past. We look at what are you up to now? Standing in the now, where do you want to create?
But what if what if somebody's stuck? Like, what if somebody is just resistant and stuck and making excuses and giving you bullshit and,
Well, they're not going to work with me.
Yeah, but you're not going to just close them off. You're gonna.
Well, okay. Coaching is a choice. You choose to come to a coach because you see something. There's a possibility that you want to create. Mm. There's a dream that you want to manifest. There's an action that you want to take. Right? You might be stuck because you're thinking, oh, I don't know what I want to do. Not knowing what you want to do is great because inside of that, you can create anything that you want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you can make it okay that you don't know what you want to do, but you know there's something you want to create, then we can get to work on having a look and finding and discovering that thing that you want to create, because sometimes it's so up against your face, right? You can't see it. It's something that you
I
can't,
love that.
right? So
Yeah.
you kind of have to peel yourself
It's like an
away.
octopus on your face.
Yeah, and start looking at, oh, what is it that I want to create? But when you're up against it, I don't know what I want. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you use the coach to help you pull away so that you can start to look at the whole of you, look at what works, what doesn't work, reinvent yourself, recreate, and look at what you want to have, right? Who am I going to be? What am I want to do? And then what I'm going to create. So I'm not here to give you anything. I'm here to have you create, manifest your dreams, build your confidence, take actions, right? Have you be accountable, right? I'm helping you to be accountable to the things that you want to do. So a person that, is giving bullshit, is stuck, doesn't want to, that's not my client. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
Because they're not interested in that.
Yeah. No, of course. I mean, if they're going to be paying you, they're choosing you as their coach and the way you are and who you are as a coach. So, yeah.
What I can help them create.
Yeah.
Because I'm here to support you to have the life that you say you want, to do the things that you say you want, not to keep on doing the same thing. I'm here to stretch you.
I love that.
Pull.
I love the stretching, and I love I love the
have you grow.
I love the stretching and the potentiator. I love that because it's just like the work that I do with the people that come to me in my practice. So I think that's so awesome. And I mean, listen, Noreen is the bomb.
Thank you.
Coach, and whoever's watching this, listening to this, she will. I mean, if you need,
you'll end up. Look, here's the thing. What my clients. I mean, I allow prospective clients. If somebody wants to work with me, right, the first thing I do is I want to get to know you. I'm not trying to close you. I want to build a relationship. I want to get to know you. What are you about? What's important to you? What do you care about? Where do you want to go? And I want to help you to build the confidence and the self-esteem to step into that world that you want to create for yourself, right? And so I'm not. If you want a coach that is going to close you, it's not me. If you want a coach that is going to help you build a relationship and help you to be your biggest and best self in a way that you don't even know exists, but you feel it, you can.
Yeah.
Then I'm the one for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
And the first thing we're going to do is have a conversation.
Right.
We're going to look at, and then you choose me. If I choose, it's a choice. I choose to work with you because you're inspiring. You want to have some fun, right? You're ready to get moving. You want to take big actions that you've never taken before. And this frightens the living shit out of you. The children are back. Then that's the kind of client that I want to work with.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's fun for me.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing about you that there's so much fun and play and and celebration of life and being a woman. And you have male clients.
Yeah, I do work with men.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you celebrate who they are, whether they're a man or a woman. And I think that's what's so, that's what makes you so successful. And that's what makes people want to be around you and with you and work with you, because you have those. And that's why I loved hanging out with you as a friend. So awesome. This has been so great. And so people who want to get in touch with Noreen or just look her up, it's Noreen Sumpter Coach. Is it NoreenSumpterCoach.com as well?
Yes, NoreenSumpterCoach.com.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Noreen.
Thank you
I
so
had a
much for
great
having me
time.
on the show.
Yeah, this is
Always.
like
It's not really. It is a show because we're sharing. With
yeah.
people.
But you know what? This is the first time I'm videotaping, so this is going to be on YouTube because the audio of the podcast goes on YouTube as an audio. It's just like a picture, and it's just the audio. But this time it's going to be uploaded as a video. So that's going to be cool. And fun.
I think people are going to love that.
I do.
People are going to love that because your whole life is relatable, right? You're a mompreneur, and you're a mompreneur that you're actively engaged in being mummy, and all these little things that happen with the children popping and climbing all over you. That's real.
Yeah, and you know what? The other thing that's really cool about it is that my children, they know that I do this. They know that like sometimes when I going to be on a non-video or, they know it's like, where's mommy? Well, she's in her office recording a podcast. Like they know that they know what I'm up to in my life. Do you know what I mean? And so I love that they kind of, how they just kind of rolled into here and it's just like they went with the flow. And the other thing is, you know what? I think it was really cool that my husband gave my baby girl the wine to give to me. Like, I thought that was really cool.
But look, here they come again.
Yeah, I know. They're just walking by. And the thing is, they know what I'm doing,
Exactly.
So.
And I think it's great. And I don't think you should edit any of that out. I think you should, because look, most people would say, oh, that's not professional. It is for who you are and the life that you're creating. It is perfect.
Yeah.
Because what came first? The woman, mummy, or the professional?
Yeah.
It's part and parcel of the whole.
Yeah.
It's a part of the whole.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome.
It's also, behind the scenes, because a lot of things, that people, when you listen to a radio or a podcast, I think that we get this illusion about people who are successful and then, what's really going on behind the scenes. Well, actually,
there it is.
This is it. I mean, really. Perfect. Actually, this is quite calm. I'm a little bit surprised because normally you'd hear screaming in the background. My husband's like barking orders and So anyway,
that's great.
Yeah.
So we should go because you can talk forever. Here they come again.
Yeah, I know. And it's dinner time for us. So I love this, and I'm going to edit it and release it in a few days.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So I'll talk to you soon.
All right, honey. Thank you so much.
Right,
yeah.
Okay, you're welcome.
Love ya.
Bye.
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 Wasn't that a great episode? I love Noreen. She is hilarious, so inspiring, and so full of life. She's an awesome life coach. Check out her website, NoreenSumterCoach.com. And also check out my other episodes from this podcast, You're Doing Great Mom. If you enjoyed this and any others, please subscribe, and I'd love to have a comment from you. Give me some suggestions. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.